really just way too gassy and in the worst way possible. And so I'm running on the treadmill at the gym. And you know when you start farting around a bunch of people and you're like, fuck, I can't let this happen.
Especially because you know it's dangerous.
Yeah,
You can feel it. It's hot.
It's bad. It's hot. That's a good one.
You're like a dying cat. You have to go hide somewhere.
And you know, like,
we found Armin under the coffee table.
You also know that it's going to be coming back to you, right? It's very easy to pinpoint you when you're like standing still on a treadmill, just ripping ass.
There's fans blowing and everything at the gym,
And so I did what all of us would do in that situation, which is as you're farting, take really strong, deep breaths to take it in.
Really, that's not as all of us would do, Armin. That's a unique thing to you.
So wait, you're trying to suck it out of the air?
Before it hits anybody else. I'm trying to be a hero here.
So much gas.
You were trying to be a human filter. You were
sucking it all back.
Trying to be a hero. So it's just as I'm running.
But then it backfired and it created a feedback loop where the farts were going in one end and coming out the other.
It was a bad move.
I like snake eating its tail.
I like to just blame it on other people.
Yeah.
Just like hop off the treadmill and be like, "You're gross." Whoever's next to you.
I don't know, man, that treadmill smells
95-pound
like
woman
fart.
next to you there. That's all coming from
The
her.
way you do it, though, is you take a fart lap, which is when you just like, I can't be in this localized area, so I'm going to go, I pick up my water bottle, you go, you hit the water fountain, you come back, and you just crop dust.
You give everybody pink eye.
Exactly.
It's a good idea. It's a good move. So I think that's a good way to start this episode.
I think that was the perfect way to start this
fantastic. I think the lesson we learned here is just...
Perfect segue right into the conjugate system.
Yeah. So bands. I got nothing.
Vectors
If I
and
knew
bands.
one more thing about powerlifting, I would have jumped in there, but I don't.
That's good. You said one more sentence and you would have finished it right there. So, Mark, you're in Austin for what? What are you doing here?
I'm here for you.
Oh, that feels really
just
nice.
for scale as needed.
Feels really nice.
Yeah, you told me you needed me, and I'm here.
I put out the signal, the super training signel.
Yeah.
You showed up.
I came down to the area to do some stuff with On It. I'm doing a seminar there tomorrow at 3:00, and I'm also doing a podcast with them. Or just did a podcast with them today, and here doing a podcast with you guys. So.
Cool.
So all your best podcast material's already out. It's all done.
Hey, it's already, I'm already flat. I got nothing now.
What was
nothing to say anymore.
Was that with Aubrey this morning?
No, it wasn't with Aubrey. It was Sean Heisen. I forget the other individual's name, but yeah, it was with Sean Heisen, who used to work for Muscle and Fitness, and I've had a good relationship with him over the years. Dealt with him many times on different articles and stuff, and now he does some stuff for On It, writes articles, hosts a podcast, stuff like that.
Did they have a better answer to the farting and peeing question?
I didn't start out with that question to them, but they seem very bright, so I should have asked them.
Yeah. I think On It would have some sort of supplement for that.
Yeah, probably.
I think they have a supplement that will make you pee every time you fart if you want to.
And plus they have it in the daytime and nighttime formulation.
That's right.
What do you think is in that oat bar that you're talking about?
Dude, I have no idea because
I've had the identical experience because the packaging looks so wonderful. It's a bar that's perfectly zone balanced, and it has omega-3 fatty acids, and it's the healthiest possible bar.
It's non-soy.
Non-soy.
So does that not mean that man's natural state is just to be blowing ass all the time?
I think that's exactly what it means. Yeah.
If being that healthful will suddenly
can
make you
somebody
fart.
look up the ingredients for us or something?
Yeah,
Quick,
actually,
find the
I think
ingredients.
someone on the not as handsome as it used to be cam
To the
can
handsome Cam.
probably Google. Could
To
you
the
please,
no longer quite as
could you
handsome
please
Cam.
look
gotta
up the
find out.
Oat Mega Bar?
What's in there? Methane?
And we want to find out which ingredient
It's just
it is.
Alka-Seltzer, as it turns out. You're just fizzing over.
Could be some sulfur in there.
That's what it is.
Could be
That's-
causing some
It's-
major problems.
That's sulfur being a very good source of protein.
It's just all egg white crystals.
While they're looking that up, there it is. Here we go. So we have the Oat Mega. We're just giving everyone.
It says ass fed on there. No, grass fed. Grass fed.
Ingredients:
High fiber. Okay, that's a red alert. That's a red
whey,
flag.
non-GMO. That's the thing. We need more GMO.
Well, when it's too many nons, then what is it? Like it doesn't have whey. It doesn't have this. It doesn't have that. You're like, well, what's left? Like, what is this thing made out of?
Farts.
Main ingredient, FART.
Yes.
I love how we're doing an anti-ad for Oat Mega. Made that the whole podcast at this point.
That's the strategy. That's how we get in paper. We're going to continue to shoot on your product until you give us money. So they
negging
better
them.
get in here. We're negging Omega into giving us
They
money.
might not appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hey, it's honest feedback, right?
That's right.
For our audience, I think they're looking for farts, not looking to eliminate them.
This is true.
So I think that this might be a plus.
Yes.
Might be a plus.
Word.
Would something like? Do you even have any bars? Like, are there any snacks in your life at this point, or are you just eating like basically meats and a couple vegetables here
I
and there?
try to avoid snacks because I think they can reinforce bad habits that I've had for years. I was a fat kid growing up, and my weight has shifted many, many times over. So I try to instill as many good habits as I possibly can. A lot of that starts with just kind of conditioning myself for whatever diet is I'm trying to get into. Like right now, I'm doing a ketogenic style diet, which is basically eliminating carbohydrates. Once you eliminate carbohydrates from your life can seem quite miserable. But when you increase the fats that you're taking in, and you also look at kind of the bright side, that you get to eat cheese and burgers and bacon and those kinds of things, it starts to be easier and easier to have better habits. And then you're able to kind of fight through it. And I've said stuff like this many times, but if you have the discipline to go to the gym, you have the discipline to do well at work, whatever your discipline is, everyone's got like something somewhere in their life where they have some sort of discipline towards something that they care about or towards something they want to get better at. It's just simply the act of trying to apply that to other spaces in your life. So, for example, you can apply it to a diet, or you can apply it to making more money, or you can apply it to lifting, or you can just wherever there's a gap. We all have plenty of them. We all have holes in our game. And
except me, I have no holes in my game.
But you have you have a big gap.
Yeah.
No holes, but an enormous gap.
Yeah, gaping
So,
hole.
what benefits have you seen from the ketogenic thing? Because that's something that's come up here before, is diet and stuff. Like, why are you doing ketogenic? And do you still have energy and stuff?
First of all, I want to tell people, look, I'm not going to try to sell you on any magic. There's no magic that
Sell
occurs.
me on the magic of ketogenic diet.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but there isn't any. There's no magical exercise program. There's no magical diet. There's nothing magical about a ketogenic diet. And there's nothing magical about something like intermittent fasting. They're all useful. They're all things that actually work. For me, the ketogenic diet is the only diet that I can follow and stay in like a restricted caloric intake and be able to actually do on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
So if I'm able to eat carbohydrates and I'm doing like a bodybuilding style diet or trying to quote unquote eat clean, my interpretation of eating clean gets to go, whatever way my imagination can go. And so I don't like to leave that up to my own interpretation. And so it's like easier for me to say, you know what, fuck carbohydrates, they're out.
No, I agree. I rely very heavily on imaginary health. So if I can imagine that this Chipotle is good for me, I will just adhere to whatever like dietary philosophy will allow me to do that at that moment. And then next week I'll be ketogenic for a minute. So there you go.
Well, also too, it's hard. Like, what's healthy?
Yeah.
If
Whatever
you had
gives me abs, Mark. That's
whatever gives you the most amount of farts.
Exactly.
Back to
there we
that
go.
fucking omega bar right there.
As we learned, it's been scientifically proven. Health equals farts.
So what is the goal of the ketogenic diet for you right now?
First of all, I'll just explain what the ketogenic diet is a little bit. It's a high-fat diet, low to moderate amounts of protein, and very, very low carbohydrate intake. What it does for me is it helps me to drop weight. And so the reason why I selected it, the reason why I'm doing it, is I've been doing a ketogenic style diet since like the mid-90s, probably all the way back to, maybe more like late 90s. Dan Duchesne wrote a book called Body Opus. I think it's the greatest book ever written on the ketogenic diet. He wrote a bunch of other crazy shit too. He was kind of a madman, but there's been a lot of good books written on the topic, and it's something that's always worked well for me. So anytime I want to drop weight, I go back to it. I was on a mission to bench press 600 pounds about 2 years ago. I went to bench press 600 pounds. I tore my pec. I came back from that injury more than once and then re-injured myself a couple times. Got back up over the 500-pound mark. Then my elbow started to bother me a lot, and I was in the gym doing sets and just doing sets of 3 to 5 reps or something like that with like 485 pounds or something like that. And the pain that was in my elbow was at like an 8 or a 9. And I've been taught from the time I was a kid, if you have something more than like a 3, then go the fuck home, and live to lift another day, basically. And so I was super frustrated with that, but I took that and I said, you know what, this doesn't make any sense. This isn't near the goal strength that I want to be anyway. I'm still quite a ways away from it. And here I am having pain at like 90% or 85% of my max or whatever it was at the time. And I was like, I got to make a change. And I was about 300 pounds at the time, and that's when I decided to start making some changes. And it's been really fucking hard. The diet hasn't been that hard. The hardest part has been letting go of the weights, because you start to get to a point where something becomes your identity. But then you also start to realize that no one fucking cares. It's really just you. It's you that it's just me that cares. When I go to these trade shows and stuff, and people are standing in line for an hour to get an autograph, if I was to ask that person that waited for an hour, hey, what's my best bench? They'd go, I have no idea. So they're not in line for my best bench anyway. So the strength part of it was an aspect of things, but it has been really difficult to let go of in the gym. But more recently, I've been able to let go of it and do more fitnessy circuit type stuff.
Yeah. I can say that even as a hobbyist, when I had a total quadricep rupture about 2 years ago, and that was the hardest part, was feeling like even in that little sphere, I got self-esteem out of being able to lift more weights than everyone in my gym or whatever it was. And when that part went away, and then all of the rehabilitation that came from it, there was just this part of me that just has periodically said, why am I doing this again? What is it? Why does it matter if I can squat these things? And then at a certain point, it's like I just really, and then after I re-ruptured it a second time 6 weeks later, by falling outside of a 7-Eleven where I went to go buy Cheetos. And after that second surgery, I mellowed.
Not healthy.
Not healthy, as it turns out. But part of the
depends on your interpretation.
Yes, depends on your interpretation.
Cheetos equals quadriceps rupture. Scientifically proven.
Yes, but that mellowed me the fuck out, and that was the hardest part. It was just coming back and beginning to like realize that okay, it's just you can lift as much as you can lift, and that is coming from someone who was at no point a professional powerlifter. I mean, obviously, I'm as strong as a professional powerlifter. Obviously,
right? You just didn't want to compete.
I just didn't want to compete.
Right,
exactly. I think
most
that because I don't want to commercialize it. It's poetry. So
So you got what did you say it was?
Quadricep rupture. So
Fritos,
Cheetos. Both. I actually got both at the same 7-Eleven. I got a quadricep rupture and Cheetos at the same time.
It turns out if you just gotten Doritos, it wouldn't have torn.
That's what I was going to ask: Cheetos, Fritos, or Doritos? Like which one's the best?
Ooh, that's tough. I would have said Doritos a couple years ago, but I have a hankering for those Cheetos have come back in recent years.
There's Kyle. There's angry, skinny Kyle. God. I love the quote.
And no Cheetos.
I snapped the tendon that connects the quadricep to the kneecap.
Wow, you look great on the beach.
Yes, I know. And this was like 6 weeks of the ketogenic diet, and I was right back to this. Had my bikini body back.
Jacked and tan.
That's
you
beautiful.
Look great. Right
your tits look great there too.
Yeah,
great rack. Actually, so this is an ongoing thing. You may not be able to tell, but Cliff and Kyle have been doing fitness for a very long time.
Say they were dating.
Yes, that's right.
Because I noticed
that's why he took my last name.
They've been doing the fitness thing for a long time, and yet neither of them look like you.
No, not great
and
results.
I think that
at any point ever
is bullshit. and then I think that if I just do exactly what Mark's doing, I will look exactly like Mark, and that's what's important. So
maybe
instead of a 7-Eleven, maybe you go to a pharmacy instead.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. The questions and interests that Kyle was showing in the ketogenic diet is the most interested he's been in any fitness talk in the history of this podcast.
Anything that's happened on the podcast, maybe.
I feel like the ketogenic diet, though, I'm hearing more and more about it these days, and I think it works because I've certainly done like the no carbs thing, and my immediate result is just like I can't do anything.
Right.
All of that.
Let me lay this out for you, and you can give me a yes or no whether this is possible for what you guys want to do. So we just went to lunch, and here's what Mark ordered. Mark ordered fish tacos with no shell, no flour tortilla. And then he ordered chips with guac and salsa, but no chips. Instead, they brought him his fish tacos with no tortilla, but they brought him the chips with the guac and the salsa.
I was just like, oh man, that's gonna be hard.
And this superhero
did
not have a single chip.
Oh man.
And so you have to ask yourself, do you have the strength to do that? Because that's what it takes. That's literally the difference. You have had chips in the past day. He has not. And that is the difference.
Yes, that's exactly. He has both the physical strength and the strength of will to be able to resist tortilla chips.
How much do you have to squat to be able to not eat the chips?
Yes, that's a good question.
1,080. That's the limit right there.
It is. Yeah. Once you get there.
So if I crest 1,000 pounds, I'll be able to turn down tortilla chips, is what you're saying.
That's all it takes.
If you think about something that's easy for you, like I'm not sure exactly what you guys are all into, but you think about something that's easy for you, if you encourage somebody else to do it with you, and they were bitching and moaning, like first couple times, you might kind of say, okay, well, you're going to encourage them more, right? But after a while, you're just going to be like, you're a fucking pussy. And I like to try to take that mentality into everything that I do. The best I can. I fuck up all the time. Trust me. I'm eating fucking cheesecake and ice cream just like the rest of everybody else, and pizza here and there and stuff like that. But I try to carry it with me as much as I can through the rest of my life. And I try to, basically say, if I'm going to eat something, I'm going to make a decision that's off track from what I agreed to, because you have a lot of self-talk. You have like an inner monologue. You're having these conversations with yourself. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then the second you have an opportunity to be weak, you travel. It's somebody's birthday. Boom, there you are having a beer, eating a fucking hot dog. Or
I sure
pizza.
am, Mark.
But I think people can coach themselves out of it. Maybe not everybody can have a six-pack, and maybe not everybody can have a 500-pound bench and these different things, but I think that everybody does possess the ability to get better from wherever it is that they're at.
Yeah.
You hear that, guys?
Yeah.
There's hope.
I've got it. I've got it.
I'll have things figured out by my 60th birthday. I think I'll have things figured out just a little bit there. Yeah.
Is that the timeline you're giving yourself?
Yes,
think so,
that's just
I'll have abs
playing
at
the
60.
long game.
Abs at 60, guys.
But I'm curious. You said that what motivated you was your pain in your elbow and other kinds of pains. And I was curious, some people have said the ketogenic diet is helpful because of the inflammatory effects of like carbohydrates, like make their joints hurt and everything. Have you noticed a reduction in all of that when you cut down carbohydrates?
Again, there's nothing magical going on with any of it.
But I want there to be.
Well, there's something magical about being healthier. Being healthier comes from losing body fat, losing weight. That's going to be something that's going to increase your markers for health instantly. So, I get blood work done, and all my blood work improved drastically from when I was 300, which was just a couple months ago, to now I'm 255.
Oh, wow.
But I don't want to just say it's the ketogenic diet, because I think that's a little bit of that's not all the information. The information is that I lost 45 pounds.
Yeah.
That's the main information. So whatever way someone can lose weight, then that's going to help improve a lot of their, that's going to help improve their health quite a bit.
45 pounds in a couple months, eh? That I like the sound of that. I might have to try committing to that.
Yeah, you can get moving pretty fast on a ketogenic diet. I mean, it's not uncommon for someone to lose 10 pounds in 7 days or so, like the first week that you do it. There's also the flip side of it where people get stuck, and they don't lose weight for a while. I've had friends I put on a diet, they don't lose any weight. And it's a matter of manipulating that, because ultimately it's going to come down to the differences that you have, between the person that's helping you with the diet or giving you the diet. Also, it might come down to calories. I don't really believe the calories in, calories out that much, but I just don't think a calorie is a calorie. I think it's more complicated than that, but they are a good marker. They are a good measure of what you're intaking. And so I think that sometimes you're going to have to manipulate your calories. But for me, I don't measure anything. The only thing I measure is myself. I just weigh myself on the scale, and then I measure my dick every day too.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
And it just keeps getting bigger.
No, it's getting smaller. Yeah.
All right.
But
so
I
that's the first chink in the armor. Of this
I do
ketogenic
measure
diet.
from the butthole, though.
Yes.
That's where you start the measuring.
I like to carry most of my body fat in my dick as well.
I measure from the tramp stamp on the small of my back.
Yeah.
And just all the way through the middle.
I go over the top.
Yeah, no one ever says where that starting point has to be.
Do you notice, your workouts obviously have to change a little bit on a ketogenic diet, as opposed to being carved up and 300 pounds all the time. So, how's that changed?
The workouts are a lot faster paced. I try to get in and out of circuits pretty quick. I'll do 3 or 4 circuits in a given workout. I try to do a lot of stuff that nearly anybody else can do, so we're not doing these miraculous feats of strength or anything like that. I like farmers walks a lot. We use a lot of different devices in the gym. We have something called a belt squat. We do a lot of different things. We got sleds. But basically, if you possess the ability to walk, then you can train with me. I do overhead presses, one-arm overhead presses while we're walking, curls while we're walking. Just trying to keep fucking moving the whole workout, trying to get the heart rate elevated, trying to find a couple things that are difficult. We haven't really got into like messing with anything too crazy like a burpee or anything like that, but a motherfucking
That's
burpee.
insanity.
Yeah, dude.
Well,
Let's
a
not
burpee,
get ahead of
I've tried
I
it.
don't know how
Overrated. Don't do it.
I don't know how it's possible, but like a burpee or a mountain climber makes your heart rate just go insane.
Yeah.
And you're
That's how I
like,
feel about battle ropes.
oh,
I feel like
yeah.
you move battle ropes and suddenly I'm at like 100% heart
So
rate.
the battle rope makes your heart rate go crazy because it's your arms. Because whenever it's your upper extremities, the heart rate will actually increase a little bit more. Because your heart's right there. So it can be crazy though, because the first time you do them, you're like, what just happened? I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
That's most movements for me. I feel like my heart rate spikes immediately and then I crash right afterwards.
But a battle rope's another great example. It's like who do you know that can't do it? Somebody might have more difficulty than the next, and somebody might have to use less weight when they do a farmer's carry. Or when they do certain exercises, but everyone can participate in doing it.
Yeah. You can't do it if when you flick one end, the wave doesn't move all the way to the base.
Yeah, it just goes like 2
stops
feet.
halfway there.
Yeah. That's usually when I go into saying, like, this never happened to me before. I don't know what it was. I might have had too many beers. But my cousin has a great quote. He said, having sex at over the age of 40 is like playing billiards with rope. I don't know what he's talking about.
No, I've never heard of that.
I can imagine it though.
Yeah. I swear that's never happened to me before.
Mark, I think so. We talk a lot about fitness, whatever.
A little bit about fitness.
Yeah, we talk a little bit about fitness, mostly about comic book movies. But the little bit about fitness that we do talk about, we I think all sort of like tried to think back to when we first learned about you, and I think we all agreed that it was from Chris's movie. It was from Bigger, Faster, Stronger.
Bigger, Stronger, faster.
Bigger, Stronger, Faster. Right. See, I don't even know the name of the thing.
But Bigger, Faster, Stronger is another one of the thriving subgenre of steroid documentaries.
Is it really?
There's a whole other movie.
Okay. I was like, there's a whole other one.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Sundance picked up 4 or 5 this year. What are some of the other names,
Faster, Stronger,
Kyle?
Bigger, Stronger, Bigger, Faster.
I don't have the energy.
So I think one thing that doesn't sort of like bring itself out really easily is where you go from where you're at in there, like training with Louie at Westside, benching 800 pounds to sitting in this way too hot room in Austin, Texas.
Yes. It is a little hot.
It's warm.
I think someone in here who knows where the
thermostat
is for this room should probably go and affect that right now.
This is just not going well.
We're just
the heat. It's hot in here, and you guys ate all those oat fiber bars, those omega bars. We're sitting in a sauna of farts right now.
So many omega bars. Every time I inhale, I'm trying to save you guys. Just understand.
Plus, I haven't showered because I sleep in here at night. I don't got no place else to go, you guys. I'm just in this room recording podcasts all day.
I did see him brushing his teeth in the corner.
That's right. And I just gave myself a little horse bath in the sink. That was it. There was a shower
just
available,
Purell,
but I just didn't want it.
Right in the
Right.
armpit.
I think being in the sport for so long and being in so many different gyms and so many different settings, I kind of started out in a kind of a powerlifting type gym. And I kind of shifted into more of a commercial style gym. And so I've ended up seeing a lot of different things, and then went to the ultimate powerlifting gym, which is Westside Barbell. And just from seeing so many different points of view and so many different forms of fitness, I had friends that were into bodybuilding, and I've had friends that were just into fitness in general. I've had people kind of doing all kinds of different things. But the whole time that I was powerlifting, I always recognized it as being half weird and half exciting. Like not everybody's like really pumped about seeing like somebody deadlift 500 pounds, but at the same time there is some excitement, like, oh, I want to kind of see if this guy can do it. Strength is a value when you're a kid. You talk about the strongest kid on the playground or the fastest kid, like being the fastest kid is the thing, and being fast is relative to being strong and stuff like that. And so what's kind of carried me through these different phases has been the ability to kind of understand from the outside that this is going to look really weird to people. It's going to look strange, and some people might dig it. And the more I explain it to people, the better off we're going to be, because they're going to have an understanding of something new and something different that they're seeing. So if you take like the UFC, I think is the ultimate example. I don't think CrossFit's done a terrible job of it. UFC has fucking crushed it though.
Yeah.
All the way to the point when you go to a UFC fight, if somebody reverses a fucking jiu-jitsu move on somebody, the crowd's like in a frenzy. The crowd's fired up. And Joe Rogan's been a big part of that because he explains in detail. But Joe Rogan is somebody who recognizes like, this ain't normal. Like his verbiage and the words he uses when he's describing these people, he's like, this guy's a savage. This guy does this and that. And he's like basically explaining it to you in words that you just get the idea that some of these guys might bite your fucking face off. And he's giving you
which is true. He's not lying.
Yeah, he's giving you a perspective that these are crazy motherfuckers. Now you try to talk to those guys and you try to say, you crazy motherfucker, or you try to say like, what makes you different? They're like, nothing, man. No, I used to like to wrestle, and then it's like, no, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yes.
You're getting in a cage and you're throwing down with another human being for your living. That's pretty crazy. And what we do as powerlifters can be pretty crazy. Getting under a 700-pound squat, like what the fuck's it for? It's not for anything other than yourself. And so that's what I like to try to share with people is whatever it is that you're into, whatever it is your journey may be, maybe you like to rock climb, or maybe you like to fucking go on a bike or something. I don't know what it is that you like doing. But whatever it is that you like doing, it's similar for each person that's in that. And I like to just kind of share that with people. Look, this is this person's way of self-improvement, and this is this person's version of personal development.
Yep. It is interesting that certain sports have this obligation to kind of that people feel this obligation to kind of explain why they, like if someone's rock climbing, no one ever asks them like why do you like rock climbing? But it's like if you lift heavy weights all the time, it's like you get the question all the time, why do you do that? And I think that CrossFit, weightlifting, and UFC are all those things that because there's something about them aesthetically that's outside of the norm that people question why you do them all the time. It's like no one, if you're we have an office full of track people, and I guarantee you they've never had to deal with the question of like why do you run? Like why is that a part of your life? Why is that
from lifters they do?
Yes, from us,
like,
exactly. Why? It really sucks. I ask them all the time.
That's a legit question for me. I don't get that at all.
But it's like they all have knee injuries and all sorts of things, but no one's ever been like, so you're going to give up on the running now? And but you get a lot of that when you start picking up heavy weights. So
yeah, you hear a ton of it in lifting. I felt like I've had to defend everything I've ever done my whole life for some reason.
Yeah.
Powerlifting, being a pro wrestler, just like any of it. Like, somebody will say, "Oh, can you make money at that?" It's like, I don't know. You fucking make money at your job? I don't know. Like, I don't really fucking care. Like, and it's a weird conversation to have because I think ultimately you don't really know why. My reason and my why is probably different than others. For me, it was always about personal development, trying to get better, trying to prove myself to myself over and over again. I think, the greatest respect you can earn is self-respect. You talk about, trying to get respect from your friends and trying to get other people excited about the things that you're doing. But it's an internal battle. Every single day it's a fight with yourself, and it's not really a fight with anybody else, even though it seems like it is. But all that shit is just made up. We're all basically out of our fucking minds, and it's all stuff.
Not getting any arguments there.
It's all stuff that we make up, and we're like, hey, we're gonna so and so said I can't do this, I can't do that. It's all just kind of a perspective, and I think each day is an internal battle with yourself. The more self-respect that you can build for yourself, I think it's really important for young people of today. Not even necessarily young, but the gap of 18 to 30 something. Those people that aren't sure about college and they're not sure if they want to try to pursue figuring out ways to make money online or whatever the case is, they're really in a tough spot. They're in some crazy limbo. They're in a really, really fucking competitive world right now. Like it's more competitive than ever. People kind of keep thinking things are getting worse with social media. I think they're better. People are actually interacting way more than they used to, not less. Like I wouldn't know a lot of the people that are in my circle now if it wasn't for social media. If it wasn't for social media, I probably wouldn't be in this room right now doing some of this stuff. I wouldn't have my business. And
this, of course, the high watermark of your career, being in this room right now.
Look at this table; it's awesome.
No,
like you can't do a better table than this.
It's made out of like real cardboard.
Yeah. One of the phenomena we've talked about on this podcast previously is how like even social media, YouTube, that sort of thing has increased the popularity of like, for instance, with CrossFit was kind of born in its popularity from like people posting videos of them doing these crazy workouts
and
online and throwing up exactly.
Seeing, yeah.
Well, plenty of that. And so I'm wondering, if just like how social media and how YouTube and all of that has popularized not just CrossFit, but just all of those kind of sports that are kind of hard to teach by reading a book, but if you can watch YouTube videos of someone at Westside Barbell squatting 1,000 pounds, all of a sudden you kind of get it, you understand it, you can see that world exists. I'm kind of interested. Like, have you noticed as with the popularity of, like, we've talked to Olympic lifters before who've said that over the course of the last few years, like their skill set, their knowledge has become a premium because there's so many more people who are trying to do Olympic lifting kind of stuff thanks to CrossFit. Have you noticed that same thing over the course of the last few years, that there's been an increased interest in, that you're here to do a seminar on it, with probably not all professional power lifters or people who are lifting seriously?
Yeah, there's been a huge change in the population of powerlifting. There's been a lot more women in powerlifting than ever. And when there's more women in something, then there's more men, and it kind of keeps multiplying.
Great positive feedback.
Yeah. But yeah, the impact of social media has been huge. I think what it comes down to is relatability. If you're at home and you're flipping through some of the Instagram stuff, and you see Eric Lillibridge is one of the strongest powerlifters in the world. You see him squat 975. If you're not a powerlifter, if you're not deep into powerlifting, then you're probably like, if you happen to catch it, you're like, I was unaware that human beings can lift that much fucking weight, and they can do it that fast. And I didn't know people have traps that are coming out of their ears and so on, right? Like, you might kind of dig it
because I don't have enough followers yet.
Yeah,
people will see my traps eventually.
But it's
that's why I grow my hair out long, to just hide.
You're traps. You don't want to be too intimidating.
Right.
Exactly.
I just want to fit in with everybody. Stop getting looks on the streets.
But Cliff's traps are as veiny as his dick is.
Yes. Which is to say, they're as smooth as marshmallows.
Yeah.
Marshmallows? When you think smooth, you think marshmallows?
I think it has a doughy texture similar to that of the penis.
Cock ring, though?
Yes.
Well, it's a stack of marshmallows, of 5 marshmallows with a cock ring along each. 5 cock rings. All length.
Mini marshmallows.
The little ones that you get in the chocolate.
Your hot chocolate.
There you go.
Yeah. Just 5 minuscule marshmallows right there.
But I think the relatability is a huge factor. When you have when a girl is watching Instagram, she's flipping through. Maybe she sees another girl that looks similar to her that deadlifts like 300 pounds, and maybe at the moment she's maybe not even working out at all.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh shit, or maybe one of those girls does a comparison of their body 3 years ago versus now. And these girls are making these massive changes, and we appreciate, ladies, these massive changes with their asses.
Yes.
White girls are now having some fucking glutes on them. And it's
the world is a better place because
it's astonishing.
I'm pretty sure that's why Instagram exists, is just for those butts.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
But I think that's a huge attraction to a lot of the other girls that are watching. To like, wow, I can make those kind of changes with my body. I can have a giant ass like that.
Yeah,
it's all about that ass.
If there's one thing we can aspire to,
thumbs up.
Yes. Hey, we all see it. I mean, we're all,
I want the more you know star from NBC to fly over it. Yes.
The Zoom. Don't forget about that Zoom.
The Zoom.
Zoom right in.
Yeah, you can.
Right
there.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, Instagram just added that.
They added the little thing where you can pin. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
I have not tried that new function there.
There
we
the
go.
more you know.
Hey,
thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Not as handsome table. Really appreciate it, guys.
Why are those guys over there? They're on like an island.
Yeah.
Well, when we're going to go to
They
the
fuck
important
up.
questions,
the misfit toys.
like for instance, guys, 16th president of the United States, who was it?
Dude, I don't know.
You have the internet.
You have the internet. You're on a computer.
I don't know. That's my default answer.
Actually, now is a perfect time to ask about nose torque So none of us at this table. Well, what 25% of this table has nose torqued.
Yes.
At some point or another.
You've never done it either.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
And that 25% is you, Mark.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm not good at math. Does that mean we all did it?
No.
Tell me, give me an idea. What is it like? What's it like when you snap that cap and like really take that whip? What's that feel like?
It's really difficult to put into words, man. It is so powerful that like so you have the little ampule things that you can kind of crack, right? Little packets you can crack open. Looks like a salt packet. And that'll hit you pretty hard. And then they also have like it in like a container, which is funny because like the container that we have it at the gym is a black bottle that has black duct tape all around it. It just looks very, very scary. What the fuck is that? But even when you get near the bottle, which is near the chalk bowl, you kind of smell it's ammonia. You kind of smell it.
You smell it through the bottle.
Yeah, and you're like, whoa. But the second that you go to open it, you have to make a judgment call on like how you're gonna like breathe this thing in. Like I'm a big pussy, so I don't really like to do it. And so I have to breathe before I get close to it, and then I have to like get right up to it. The problem with that is you end up like huffing a giant fucking thing of it, and it almost knocks you on your ass.
So what's the benefit again? Like, what is it doing?
What does it do?
Like I've always wondered, like what is
Smacks the fucking shit out of you.
Is
it wakes
just,
you up.
It wakes you up. That's the thing. It gets you dialed in.
It wakes you up like crazy. I mean, think about like. Different people react differently depending on how much alcohol you drink, but just a shot of whiskey or shot of vodka or something that's going to kind of give you a little burn. It's like a lot of times people slam it on the table, right? Because they're like, fuck. And it's a little bit of like pain. It's a little bit of, it's a really crazy sensation. There's actually been some research done on it lately that ammonia, things that are really sour, they're starting to think that they have some impact on your strength. I don't know if it's like a gimmick or somebody's just trying to sell more shit or whatever, but it is interesting because it does make you feel like you can fucking take over the world because you're just so like angry and focused for that.
You're just really pissed off that
you're not going to really
just do that. Where's that brick wall I want to run through?
Yeah, you're not going to really ever see someone sniff an ammonia cap and then just be all casual up to the bar. You know?
It's like stubbing your toe right before you're like and then
for me. I have not used it that often because it makes you kind of forget where you're at a little bit. And it's not great with big weights in your hands or on your back. And so I've always used it kind of strategically. But one time in the gym, we were doing whiskey and deadlifts, courtesy of our friend.
Fantastic.
Courtesy of our friend Chris Duffin. Well, drinking lowers inhibition, and so you're like, oh, I'll go talk to that fucking girl over there. Oh, okay. Well, I'll deadlift 750 pounds. Like, just think, oh, it's nothing.
Or talk to a girl while you're deadlifting 750 pounds.
Yeah, with no pants on.
Exactly.
Maybe, if she's lucky, right?
Yes.
So it lowers your inhibition, and you're not as scared of the weights kind of thing, and so. We did some whiskey and deadlifts in the gym one day, and then I'm chalking up, and then one of the guys brings over like an ammonia thing, and I was like, oh man, I'm like kind of drunk, and I don't know what this mixture is gonna be like. Anyway, I hit
God hates a coward, so get right in there.
Yeah, so I nailed the ammonia thing, and I just took in way too much of it. Now I'm in tears as I'm going to the platform, and they're just dripping down. Then I have snot dripping into my mouth. I can taste it, and I'm getting my grip and getting positioned and everything. And then I let out a fucking Mel Gibson Braveheart freedom cry as I lifted the weight and was able to do it. I was able to get a PR for that day. So it worked, but I was just like a mess. There was like blood and shooting out of my nose and like snot and crying and everything all mixed together.
Ketogenic diet, no magic, but that sounds like magic. That's the secret potion right there is whiskey, ammonia, Braveheart soundtrack playing in the background.
The music is crucial. So 100%.
Yeah. So we mentioned that we had made a terrible error of judgment and had all that Full Metal Jacked for our 100 5-star reviews.
Yes. So we tried to come up with what our next challenge would be to try
even stupider
to motivate the audience to give us even more 5-star reviews on iTunes.
Yeah. So the reason why now Braveheart's playing in the background.
Perfect.
The reason why I asked about the ammonia.
I am William Wallace.
Is our next challenge is the torque mile, where we are going to. We're going to
not a real thing. We just made it up.
We invented it. Yep, the torque mile. So it's snap a cap of ammonia, run a quarter mile times 4.
Wow.
Now,
So-
would you say on a scale of terrible decisions that's like really, really terrible or exceptionally terrible?
Or potentially dangerous.
I think we all know it's potentially dangerous. I don't think we need Mark to tell us that.
I just don't think there's enough there. You know, I think we got to add a little bit more to it. Especially, like, are we going to, like, try to make a YouTube video or something?
Oh,
or?
man.
There's going to be some media.
think
Media
there will
will
be some
have to
filming
film. It'll be
involved.
edited down, maybe. I don't think
So
we'll do
my
a lot.
suggestion...
There are plans.
Oh no.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be to add some fireballs to it. So you start out, you start
the
out,
fireball?
yeah, you start out with a fireball in your mouth, and then you hit the nose torque,
Okay.
right? And
Yes.
so each one you'll have about 4 of them at the end if you can make it that far. But now we have like tears coming out of our eyes. We got snot automatically coming out of the nose,
Yes.
and then we have saliva for the
Yes.
trifecta, and then it'll look like you're bleeding because all the shit will be just drooling out of your face as you're going down the street.
And it'll be
Yeah.
actually
Wherever
bleeding,
you're going.
probably.
Yes,
yeah,
at the
there
same
could be
time.
They're
actual
definitely
blood.
just bleeding right from the tear ducts,
And
from the ears.
It's also important to remember that for us, we're just running that mile is going to be hard enough to do because
Right.
my fitness level is very low. So
We didn't even get to that part.
yeah, that's true. so we
The fireball and the nose torque will have you.
We'll
covered.
just do it. Yeah.
Fairly inexpensive project to try.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
We can pull it off, and then we'll just go hit a big PR on deadlift at the same
I'm
time.
not looking forward to it. I'm not okay. This I was not okay with the
You
Full
know
Metal
who's
Jacked.
really not okay with it? Katie, your fiance.
My fiance now every time she sees Kyle, tells him to go fuck
worried.
himself. because she saw what I was like after the Full Metal Jacked, and now,
Armin, that was months ago, but Armin still has not achieved an
took,
erection.
I took.
But this will get you back.
yes,
The ammonia.
Yes, it will.
That's right.
It's not just my nose that's going to get torqued.
Yes.
Hi, Mom.
She's a listener.
Everyone's so disappointed in you right now. All your family members are like, oh god. I took something years ago called Ultimate Orange. That sounds
no.
like a great idea, doesn't
Wait,
it?
what is Ultimate Orange? Tell me about that.
Tell
Is
me
that-
it's just like Tang, and it's not.
So Ultimate Orange, this is back in the day when ephedrine was legal. So it had ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin, and like a couple other things that made you just fucking lose your mind. I had a scoop of it, and I can't remember the situation. I can't remember. Maybe it was like Mother's Day or something, which is coming up, by the way, everybody. Don't forget your moms.
Hi, Mom. She's
Hi.
watching.
She is?
Maybe
Oh,
she is.
I hope
don't know.
not. Oh, God.
Hopefully she tuned out at some point.
Yes.
Drink, feel, explode. There's no way that's the same thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Holy shit.
Oh, I
Duchesne
I like the
swears
insecticide bottle.
Yeah, Dan
though.
Duchesne.
he swears Ultimate Orange contains no illegal compounds. Wait, okay, so
It might have at the time because there was like less.
no one
regulation.
asked you, Dan.
Yeah, you're full of shit.
wait, so
well,
you
well,
took
hold on. He's the inventor of the product. He's also dead. So gives you some insight.
wow.
So yeah, so I took Ultimate Orange, and so did my brother. We were getting fired up. We were going to the gym, and my mom's like, "You guys aren't going to the gym." And I'm like, "Oh, what's wrong? Like, why aren't we going to the gym? What's going on today?" It was like a Sunday or whatever. She's like, "It's Mother's Day. We're going to your grandmother's house." We were like, "Oh no!" Like we just fucking took Ultimate Orange. We're fucking fired up,
That's the
and we're
wrong
gonna go down
mindset
there
for
and fucking
grandmas, yeah.
break down grandma's party down there. You know, so we go over to her house, and then I'm like sitting there, and I'm fidgeting. I'm like actually like tweaking. I'm sweating. I feel really hot, but my nose is cold, and my brother's like tweaking.
You're turning
He's like,
into a dog.
yeah. Yeah, we're not doing well. My brother's like, we should go for a walk or something. He's like, don't you think we should go for a walk? He's like, we should do something. We should throw a football outside or something. I was like, I don't know, man. I didn't feel good. I felt like I was gonna fucking barf.
Yeah.
And then my little grandma, who's super sweet, she was always like making us sandwiches and doing all this stuff all the time. And she'd ask you like a million questions when you walk through the door. She like taps me on the shoulder and she's like, "Mark, honey." And I turn around. I'm like, "What do you want?"
And then I tore her in half
And,
like a phone
you know,
book.
she's like 4 feet tall, little tiny Italian woman. My brother's like, "Dude, we got to get out of here." So we tried to walk it off. That didn't really work. But
oh man, if only they made
poor
that
grandma.
the fun pre-workouts were still legal. Ours just made us sick. We didn't get anything out of it.
No, this was back when ephedrine was legal. You know, and
before it killed some kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it was still around. I loved it. It was great.
It was just like super caffeine, right?
No. It's a whole nother category. Yeah. No, it's like a dial bronchulator for your lungs or some shit. It's for asthma. Yeah, but it makes you go fucking haywire. That's really good. That's some good stuff.
We recently, as we were sent some Blonix beta alanine, which you're supposed to take twice a day, and I'd only ever taken beta alanine before a workout, so I didn't really think about it. So I took, like, you're supposed to take a morning scoop and an evening scoop and it'll help, suppress like lactic acid buildup or something like that. So I took an evening scoop, but I was headed out for the evening, so I took my first evening scoop of it. And then I immediately got in the shower, and then all of the beta alanine fire hit you and to take a shower while your skin is on fire from beta alanine is it is an interesting experience. It's very stimulating. And then I immediately pulled a PR deadlift right in my bedroom.
Do you use peppermint soap, Bronner's peppermint soap as well? Just layer on layer of.
I knew I shouldn't have chosen lava. The exfoliants.
It's amazing that we get sold on stuff like that. It tastes so awful a lot of times, and you're just like, why am I doing this? And then you justify for some reason why you're doing it, but usually it's all pretty gross.
It's almost the worse it is, the more you want to do it. The more you're like, I know this is going to work because it's bad for me.
That's actually a technique with health products. They will make them intentionally taste a little vitamin E-ish.
Interesting.
Because otherwise when you eat it, you're
they taste too good. They can't be good for you.
Interesting. Yeah,
that's what people think.
It's kind of like what they said. They said they made beta alanine that doesn't doesn't tingle, and people weren't taking it because without the tingle, they don't think it's working if they don't feel it. Like soap bubbles.
Like soap bubbles?
Well, that was actually part of the reason why they made ephedrine illegal was that people got so addicted to it, they started taking such large amounts of it that they started to become more immune to it. And so each company started upping the dosage that they were putting in there. It was no longer 25 micrograms or whatever it was. It was now like 50. And that's when it gets to be really dangerous, when you start to take a shitload of it.
Yeah.
So
the good old days.
Tijuana can't be too far, right?
Yeah, not from here.
That shit's got to be legal.
That could be a fun day trip. Yeah.
No,
everything's legal in Mexico. Mexico.
Nope.com.
Oh, that's for 300. 300 5-star reviews.
We're not crossing the border to do Mexican pre-workout.
Yes, we are, Armin.
I think Mexican pre-workout and steroids.
Yes, there we go.
Chick-fil-A's, and you get some fucking Dianabol and Sustanon. You guys come back all fucking jacked.
Yes, there's no bad data, Armin. That would be good for the podcast if I started juicing hard in Tijuana for a year, let's say.
Hey, I'd watch that episode. I'd tune in.
Absolutely.
It's good point.
It'll be good content. I just need Flo to bankroll it for me.
I think we can probably make the argument that is worth expensing on the company dime.
A bottle of testosterone is only like $40. It can change your life.
Yes, I know. I went to the doctor's office about a month ago, and as a man walking into the doctor's office, they forced a testosterone replacement therapy pamphlet into my hand. You should really consider this. And I was like, I thought this would be harder to do. But I'm not even sure anymore.
It's like taking Full Metal Jacket.
And I immediately opened. I opened it up, and it was like, do you suffer from any of these? It was like occasionally tired, and it was just like,
do you fart when you pee?
Yes, so exactly. Or do you only pee when you fart? There you
go. Tell me a little bit about Meathead Millionaire. Not the rap song, which we know should be a Grammy Award-winning rap song at this point, but kind of like the idea behind it, the concept behind it, what that means for you.
Kind of my concept behind a lot of things is, A, to be transparent, and B, is that you can have it all. If you chase it down, you can have it all. So the Meathead Millionaire thing is something that was made up by my brother, and it's something that kind of spawned into us pitching a TV series. We've been in talks with some of the biggest production companies in the world to execute on this. Those motherfuckers are slow, and so we don't know what will happen. But basically, I'm having a lot of fun with all this. This is a lot of fun for me. And I've said in a seminar before, somebody said, hey, do you regret the way you train, or you regret, like, you said you tore your pec a couple times, like, fuck, that's gotta suck. I said, no, it made me a millionaire. And my friends that were at the seminar, they were like, that was really like profound when you said that, because most people don't say stuff like that. I was like, but I just don't have anything to hide. To me, making money is like putting up points on the scoreboard. That's kind of how we're judged as adults. It's not, I didn't make up those rules, but that's kind of how you're judged. That's how you're judged as a business. Like, what are you fucking pulling in? Like, what are you guys doing? And so for me, it's fun. It's like it's a game, and that's a side of me that is competitive. And then I have 15 other sides of me, like the movie Split, right? But I don't give a fuck about money. I never cared about it before. I still don't care about it today. If I have to go and do a trip and we need to spend certain amount of money on certain amenities to make the trip better, there's not an amount of money that I probably wouldn't spend. Like, there wouldn't be anything that would shock me. If they're like, oh, it's an extra 10 grand to do this, I'm not going to throw money around for no reason. I'm still going to consider the risk to reward and stuff like that. How does it help? How does it hurt? But at the same time, it's like, fuck, man, if this makes it fun and easier and better for everybody, let's fucking go do it.
Nice. I just want to know when I can see a TV show with it's called Meathead Millionaire. That
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I will watch that shit all day long.
We've done a little bit of stuff so far, just on the YouTube channel with myself and Jason Kalipa. The Meathead Millionaire thing obviously is something that's based in the gym. It's guys who have made their money unconventionally. Jason has a schooling and has more of a background on it. I don't have any of that. I've just been producing and just making stuff and figuring out everything else second. Just diving off of fucking buildings and then spreading my wings on the way down and hoping that turns into something.
Just aim for the bushes.
yeah, that's right.
Oh, right. That's the other guys. There you go.
The only funny part about that forgettable movie.
How dare you? That's a funny movie.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
The Other Guys is very funny.
That one part was funny.
It's funny to quite funny.
Funny to quite funny. I'll give it to you.
Quite very funny.
I'll give you this one.
Anyway, so yeah, that's. I recently watched that with Jason, and I think.
This is very recent, because I'm wondering why the hell haven't I seen this?
I was about to ask the same question.
Yeah.
How come I haven't seen this yet?
It's
it's
great.
I apologize.
It's a good look at Jason's mindset and what he's up to, and for a lot of our listeners, like, they know Kalipa really well because they're CrossFit fans,
CrossFit people,
that sort of thing.
Yeah, and for me, I went in and pitched this just a couple days ago. We were down in Los Angeles, and just everything I do is like unconventional. Not for the sake of being unconventional. It's just the way that I kind of operate. We were down in Los Angeles. We did a bunch of stuff. I was hanging out with some friends and bouncing around from one spot to another. And I said to my brother, I said, hey, where's that agency? Like, where are those guys at? Like, are we near that? Because we were like in the kind of Hollywood area and stuff. And he's like, yeah, kind of. And I was like, there's a lot of traffic right now? He's like, I don't think so. It's the middle of the day, And I was like, well, let's hit him up and let's just go in there. He's like, it doesn't really, my brother's pitched a lot of stuff before. He's like, it doesn't really work that way. I was like, well, who cares what way it normally works? Like, this is going to be different, And just went in there and just fucking blasted the guy, guns blazing. Told the guy told him what's up, told him what I'm there for and what we're trying to do. And the basic premise for me is I'm on a mission to make the world a better place to lift. And if I'm going to make the world a better place to lift,
not bad.
I love it already.
Then it starts with each and every person. I got to be able to reach people individually, and having 250,000 people on my YouTube channel and 300 on my Instagram is not enough for me to complete my mission. So I just need a bigger platform. And in conversation with this guy, basically said, I don't think that I even really care to be on television necessarily, because I think television is going to be too controlling. They're going to tell me what to do, and that doesn't work well for me. So, and I don't want to have to travel. I don't want to have to do things too far outside the box. I'm a family man. I've been married for 17 years. I want to keep that fucking rolling, And so I basically just said, I don't know where it lives. I don't know where it ends up, but it should end up somewhere, and you're not going to be able to execute a show like this without me. So it was great. Just go in there. I'm confident enough. I've been doing this stuff long enough to where I'm not going to let some Hollywood person push me around or try to.
And how could they really
try to set? try to set some bullshit tone that I don't want. It's like, let's just not even talk about it. if your idea is so different than mine, then let's not even have a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. Especially now, there's so many more options available for trying to get that kind of content because we're kind of involved in that as well. And just like there's with shows, having a show on YouTube used to mean almost nothing, but now having a show on YouTube can mean millions of viewers and millions of dollars, and especially for. There's just myriad ways to kind of reach that audience, and I can say that I want to get more of the word out on this because I would watch a show with you and Jason Khalipa all day.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, because and especially just because it would make Jason Khalipa look very puny by comparison.
Right.
He's pretty damn jacked, man. That's not an easy task. He's got some big arms, man.
Yeah. But how are his lifting numbers these days? Surely they must have fallen off tremendously now that he's not competing as an individual anymore in the CrossFit Games. He must have given up. Oh, is he coming back? What's happening?
He's not coming back. He's just still a monster.
Yes.
Okay. We actually just talking about that at lunch.
I worked out with him, and it didn't work out so well for me.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, Charlie, who's I think on the couch there, or maybe outside right now.
Yeah.
Charlie's been in like the CrossFit space for a long time. He's known Jason for forever, and like what's going on with Ava and her leukemia, and she's kind of in remission almost, right? Like she's trying to get better a little bit.
Basically anything that happens to her is very finicky, and so he's got as much of a positive outlook as he can on it, but they also understand how serious something like even just having a cold is. They were just recently in the hospital for like 8 days, 10 days. I mean, I can't even imagine any of it, because any amount of days in the hospital, even just by yourself, is one day too many, and then to have your child going through that, he's a really strong and powerful person. I admire the hell out of him and his family and what they've been able to do for that little girl. And then she's an amazing person as well. I went to a fundraiser, a charity event, like a dinner type thing for her, and she got up and spoke in front of everybody. She's fucking like 5, 6 years old. She didn't say a lot. She didn't have like this big speech or anything, but I was like, oh my God, like I wasn't able to talk in front of people until 5 seconds ago, pretty much. And so I just thought that was really cool. But yeah, what a cool family. And in getting around Jason and talking about business and some different things, I think there's just a lot of insight that people would get that they normally wouldn't be able to get from seeing other types of TV shows and seeing other types of things that are talked about through business, since Jason and I are people that are practicing it every day, and his business is so much different than mine. My gym is free. He has 25 gyms. That's how he makes. He's selling.
He's 25 gyms now.
Something like that. Yeah, he's like selling.
So there's that many NorCals at this point.
Well, he has a lot of like corporate gyms as well, like different businesses like within like HGST and other like
Western Digital.
Yeah, Western Digital, and a couple new ones in like health clubs, not health clubs, like resorts, right? Health club,
Health club, yeah. He's trying to get into resorts and hotels and stuff too. That's a space that is sort of dead. Like they have like they might have an elliptical machine in there, but they don't really have fitness.
I remember seeing Jason Khalipa and Chris Spieler. They would post. There was a video posted to CrossFit 10 years ago about them improvising hotel workouts. And the hotel workout, I think, was Chris Spieler coaching Jason Khalipa on some brutal sort of clean to overhead with 2 dumbbells, and then every time like a minute passed, they would have to do burpees or something like that. And here we are years later, and he's going to change the hotel game.
He's going to make a lot of fucking money.
He's got the energy.
He has the energy. He does not sit still.
He's got the energy. He might change everything forever, period, just because, the things he has set in place right now are pretty remarkable. I went to Bay Club. It's just a club-type facility in San Francisco. And Jason had me do a seminar there. I watched him go through about 40 people 1 hour, about 40 people the next. Then I did my seminar, and then another 40 people came in. And it was in like a big kind of aerobics room type setting. It was all CrossFit-based workout things, but CrossFit didn't want anything to do with his idea, so he's just doing it himself. And I thought, like, this is the nail. This is it. This is the nail in the coffin of CrossFit, because he doesn't even need them. And there's people on the other side of the gym. It's a commercial gym. You could see right into the aerobics room. You could see that there's people on the other side of the gym that are really interested in what's going on. There's good-looking people that are getting in better shape all the time, that are in these CrossFit fitness classes, whatever you want to call them. and they're out there just doing curls, and they're not sure of like, not everybody like knows exactly what they're doing. You can kind of just tell. And I was like, wow, this is like, this is going to be a thing. Like, this is going to be huge.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So to come back to the original deal here is even through all of that, building all that business, dealing with, you know, his daughter's health and wellness, and even through all of that, he's still so goddamn jacked.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
in such good shape.
Yeah, and the video, I mean, the video I did with him, he's got his shirt off in there, and you're just like, you know, he's just like, Jesus, dude, like, what's going on? So,
and he carries the flag for all of us who were just not athletic at all before starting any kind of CrossFit regiment. He wasn't like a collegiate baseball player or anything like that. He was just a gym rat who then all of a sudden
We've all
took
seen him
over
try to throw a
CrossFit.
softball.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. We have all seen him try and throw a softball. He like shot putted a 2-ounce softball.
Yes.
that's kind of what I like about him, though. He's all like grit.
Yes.
You know? He's
Yeah.
all like, maybe I'm not sure how to do this, but I'm going to do it really hard.
He was like the one. He was the one guy who, when all of like back when it was the CrossFit Games just at the Ranch and Aromas, like when the entire sport the bar was raised, like everyone was left behind except for Jason Khalipa, who managed to hang in there and still come in second at the CrossFit Games, however many years later. So
absolute
he
beast.
can do everything.
Love that guy. Love watching him go.
Yeah.
Like they call him the California Bear a lot in the CrossFit space, and it makes a lot of sense.
It was crazy to get to work out with him. You know, I'm really fortunate to be around some really great high-level people, and I had a chance to work out with him. I had a chance to work out with the Smith brothers. I've done 3 CrossFit workouts in my whole life, and 2 of them were with some of the best. You know, 2 of them were done with champions.
Yeah.
CrossFit Game world champions, and it was fun. And they're nothing but encouraging. You know, you just think like they're gonna, oh God, they're gonna just be making fun of me the whole time. But yeah, no, they're do what you can. You know, they're just like, you know, do what you can. And Ben Smith was saying, hey, look, you know, you do 10 air squats on the first round. Let's have you hold that. Let's have you do 10 air squats every round. So he's giving you something that's manageable for you to do every time. Meanwhile, he's banging out 30, you know, every single time, and he's slamming on these double unders and stuff, and I'm just doing a single, whatever the hell it's called, regular jumping rope. And
what are those? I forget about that.
And you just see the gap between me and him, and it's just like they're just crushing you at a certain point.
Yeah, no, it's also important to remember that a lot of these guys who are these high level CrossFitters spent a lot of years just coaching soccer moms and other people in their gyms how to do it. So it's like they don't have this expectation that you're going to come in and crush all of those things, but at least you have the excuse when working out next to them. There's no way to look good when you're working out next to Ben Smith or Jason Khalipa. So, you know, you can feel pretty good about whatever you do.
It's like, imagine if in order to bankroll your time playing in the NFL, you had to be like a peewee NFL coach.
Exactly.
Right? That's the personality changes that would happen in all of the NFL players they would all be just like, you know, Ben
super
Smith
nice guys all of a sudden.
Far fewer scandals.
That's very
personal
true.
lives.
That's very true. Nobody's shooting themselves in the foot in like a club in New York.
Yeah.
Although I can't wait for Ben Smith to do that. Just like Ben Smith partying in a club in Vegas.
Oh yeah, he's got a gun and sweatpants.
Just tucked right in the front.
That makes sense.
That super nice, clean cut facade that has to be hiding something.
We just
dark
see
in
him
there.
throwing champagne in someone's face and
Nefarious.
throwing money at them and then shooting himself in the leg. There's a whole other side to Ben Smith we didn't know
He
about.
has a dog fighting facility compound, right?
Yeah, and I mean that's actually, we're getting near the end of our time here, but that's something that we didn't even get a chance to talk about, which is like
Dog fighting?
Yes, dog fighting specifically. The fact that like through, you know, Slingshot, you've and through like your gym and your business, you've built all these relationships with some of the best strength athletes in the world, and you get to kind of like hang out and chill with them.
It's been amazing.
It's the best job in the world, isn't it?
It's been so much fun, and then the different nuances that each person has, and the different things that it takes for one person to be a champion versus the other. I'd have to say Brian Shaw is probably the most meticulous person that I've maybe been around. Every detail of his, 4-time world's strongest man, on his way to his 5th title coming up pretty soon here.
Seamstress.
He's fucking he's unbelievable. Like just every part of his training is intact, all the way from his food to his sleep, recovery strategies. You know, the hot cold tub thing. It all gets done. You know, it's all many hours of training every single day, but he does it all. I mean, the first thing when he came to Super Training Gym, he just like lays on the ground and he's got his arms spread out. You know, he's 6'8" and he's 440 pounds. He takes his foot and moves it out and spinning kind of back and forth, and he's kicking his hands, each time.
Holy crap.
Each time he's twisting his hips.
Oh, wow.
You're just like, holy shit. But that's his, he goes through like this warm up and he's doing his mobility drills, and the way this guy can move, you can't make any sense of it. I don't know, how much you guys pay attention to the way people move, but I pay attention to it a lot because it's something I do for a living. So when I see, Michael Phelps in the starting blocks at a swimming event, Michael Phelps' shoulders are super, super low, and his hips are insanely high, and his back is, rounded a little bit. But the amount of like flexion, the amount of range of motion that guy has through his hamstring and his back are unmatched. But then you see Brian Shaw, and he's like touching his toes and doing these other things. And not only is he touching his toes, a lot of people can do that because he can just kind of hang. His back is totally flat. And you're like, holy
crazy.
I don't even know how that works there.
Yeah.
So his shoulders are way lower than his hips, with his back being completely flat. It's actually really rare for people to be able to do that. Most people can't do it. You'll run into some females here and there that can do that shit, but like for the most part. But anyway, because of that, he gets in a better position for the deadlift. So he has to pay attention to all these little things. If he starts to lose anything, then he can lose points, he can lose an event, and he can lose a title. And so he doesn't tolerate that shit. He makes sure everything's... I think this year he's going in at like 450 pounds. He's massive, and it's just crazy. Stan Efferding is another person I learned a lot from. Stan came into super training years ago when I didn't have money to do anything. I remember actually at the time they were going to raise my rent, and I was like, I think I'm kind of done. Like, I don't even know what to do. And Stan's like, well, what's going on? I was like, well, they're raising my rent. He's like, how much? I was like, about $200. And he was like, I could tell in his head, he's like, you don't have $200? He couldn't make sense of it, but he didn't want to be like rude, so he was like, well,
let me explain how poor I am to you.
Yeah. He was like, he doesn't call anybody by their first name because he doesn't remember anybody's name. So he just calls everybody Biggs. He's like, all right, Biggs. He's like, well, maybe I can help you out a little bit. So he helped out for a few weeks, and everything kind of turned around from there. I was already in the process of the Slingshot, and all that other stuff started kind of coming around. But just like many of the people listening to this, this podcast, and many people out there, I was broke as a joke, didn't have anything, no license, no car, no bank account, no nothing, came from nothing pretty much. Well, I didn't come from nothing. I was middle class, basically, growing up. My dad worked for IBM and stuff like that. But
we've seen the movie, yes.
Yeah, there you go. And, just kind of going through that time period of not really having much, made me hungry. It made me want to do something, and so that's what my mind was always wrapped around, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And meanwhile, I was still like working. I had like bouncing jobs and jobs here and there, just to blow jobs, hand jobs, you name it.
All kinds.
I got to make money.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you need $200
to keep the doors open, right?
What is the name of the fetish for the kind of guy Mark is? What is that called?
It's called
Power bear.
Yes, polar bears.
That's what you're talking about, right?
I guess albino bear.
Yes, I don't know.
Something like that. I don't know.
So you take a bear. If you shaved a bear, what would that?
Power bears. Look it up.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Oh, it is a thing. Knows.
He knows.
Because
he gets a lot of unsolicited Twitter attention that he doesn't need.
It goes down in the DMs.
It's not unsolicited. I enjoy it very much.
Listen, you gotta get your good name out there any way you can.
It's true,
and it's all good for the business. So,
I guess I know that we're kind of running into our That's fantastic.
There we go. Perfect.
I guess we're running into
like
the back end of this, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. Mark, so you are here in Austin. I don't know how many of the people watching or listening are here in Austin, but if they are, you said you're going to be at the On-In Academy tomorrow?
Yes, I think it's at 3 o'clock.
I don't know if Charlie's in here.
Use the internet, audience.
Seminar at 3 o'clock.
3:30 p.m.
3:30 p.m. There we go. The information's on my Instagram, which is at Mark Smelly Bell. Also check out my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/supertraining06. I have more videos in this space than anybody in the world, and I've been doing it for a really long time. There's probably 1,800 videos on my channel, and then there's probably another 1,000 on another offshoot channel that we had for years too. So been doing it a long time. I fucking shot and edited many of those videos, so I know what happens over here and admire what you guys are doing here. This is really cool to be at FloElite. Fucking awesome. Good job. Very impressive.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, very impressive. See all the different.
We pretend to work very hard here.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that setup when you blew the whistle when everybody walked in.
I don't actually work. I just tell other people.
He walked in on a Friday and there's literally no one in the office. It's like it's Friday afternoon, so everyone's just is taken off for the day. I just want to know, Mark, what benefit can someone with a solid 200-pound bench press get out of a slingshot? Will it take me to the next level?
Well, if you can do 200 pounds, which is almost mathematically impossible to figure out how to get on the bar.
Yeah.
Because of the 225. You got to use it. You got to use it. Well, you have to use the 2.5. I mean, it's a lot of math.
It's all cookies, just all tiny plates the whole way. Yeah.
But it would get you to that magical 2 plates that everyone's searching for. So the slingshot will help. The slingshot will help add about 10 to 15%, kind of depending on the individual. Supportive upper body device for bench press, push-ups, dips. Anybody's got elbow pain, shoulder pain, they'll now be able to bench press without pain.
Interesting. I'm going to have to do it because because we all now work out at a bouldering gym with all people who weigh 80 pounds. And so I can't. So when I take out a weight belt, it's that I get stares. So I can't wait to bring the slingshot into the gym and see what happens.
Yes,
more accessories. There we go.
Fantastic.
Accessories.
Yeah, well, Mark, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time.
Yes,
appreciate
thank you very
coming
much
on.
for stopping by.
And thank you, folks, for those of you watching, and we'll catch you next week.
This was awful. Thanks.
Thanks.